You've been doing the work, catching your thoughts, noticing your overthinking, trying to trust yourself more, and yet you still find yourself second guessing almost every decision. In today's episode, I want to show you what's actually happening underneath that pattern and why self-trust, it isn't about getting it right. It's about something much simpler. Come on in. It's time to choose your happy life. Wherever you are, whatever kind of day you're having, this is your reminder. You have a choice. If you're ready to break free from self-doubt and negative thinking, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Marie, and this is the Choose Happy with Marie podcast. Welcome. Hello, how are you? I hope you are doing well. I want to start today by speaking to something that you might not have said out loud, but I have a feeling maybe you've been experiencing it in your own unique way. You've been doing the work, you've been noticing your thoughts a little bit more, even catching yourself when you do start to overthink. And maybe even pausing before reacting in ways that you didn't before. And yet, even with all of that, you still find yourself hesitating. You're still second guessing yourself, still going back and forth in your mind, still wondering if you're making the right decision. And there's a part of you that feels confused by that. Because maybe you can see that something is shifting, but not in the way that you expected. So, if that's where you are right now, I just want you to know you're not doing anything wrong. There's just something here that you might not be seeing yet. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you don't trust yourself to choose. And I want to just walk you through what this can look like in a really simple everyday moment, because this doesn't usually show up in big life-changing decisions. It actually shows up in quiet, ordinary moments in your everyday life. I want you to imagine this. Let's just go into a scenario. It's the evening, and you're sitting on the couch, maybe scrolling your phone. Could be checking messages, could be on social media. But there's something in the back of your mind that keeps coming up. Maybe it's a message that you've been meaning to send to someone. Maybe it's something you agreed to that, if you're being really honest with yourself, you don't really want to do it anymore. Or maybe it's an opportunity you've been thinking about. It's something that you feel pulled toward, but you haven't taken that step yet. And as you sit there, scrolling your phone, you can feel that gentle internal nudge, that quiet sense of, I think I know what I want to do here. But almost as quickly as that thought appears, another voice comes in and starts questioning it. You might hear yourself thinking things like, what if this isn't the right decision? Or, what if I regret this later? Or, what if this affects someone else in a way I didn't intend? And before you know it, you're no longer connected to that initial sense of knowing. You're in your head, going back and forth, trying to analyze it, trying to figure it out, trying to land on the right answer. Does that sound familiar? And so you wait. You think about it a little longer. You tell yourself you'll decide later. Or you make a decision, but it feels like it came more from pressure or fear than from a place that actually felt like you. And that moment right there is what I want to bring your attention to. Not because you didn't know what to do, but because you didn't trust yourself enough to choose it. And this is where I want to gently connect something for you, especially if you've been listening to the episodes from these past few weeks. You've already started noticing your self-doubt in a new way. You've begun to see how your mind can pull you into overthinking, how it can keep you circling around the same decisions without actually moving forward. And you may have also recognized those moments where you genuinely want to follow through on something, and yet you don't. And it leaves you feeling like you've left yourself down yet again. And when you look at all of that together, it can be very easy, to come to the conclusion that I just need to try harder, or I need to be more disciplined, or I need to figure out a better way to be consistent. But what if none of that is actually the root of the problem? What if the real reason this keeps happening is because you're waiting to feel certain before you trust yourself? And I want you to really sit with that for a moment, because it makes so much sense that you would do that. Most of us have learned, in one way or another, that there is a right decision to make, that we should think things through carefully, that we should avoid making mistakes, and that the more we analyze something, the more likely we are to get it right. So of course, you and I, we've been trying to figure it out before we start choosing. Of course, you've been waiting to feel more sure. Of course, you've been listening to that voice that tells you, pause, reconsider, think about it one more time, maybe next month, maybe next year. But here's the shift that begins to change everything. You ready? You don't build self-trust by getting it right. You build self-trust by having your own back after you choose. And when you really let that in, you start to see how much pressure you've been putting on each decision. Because it's no longer just about choosing something in the moment. It starts to feel like you have to predict the outcome, avoid regret, and make the best possible choice. I had the best word in quotes, in air quotes. Yeah, all before you even take a step. And that, dear friend, is what keeps you and me stuck. Because the question you've been asking is this the right decision? I often get asked by the clients that I coach, asking me if it's the right decision they're about to do. But that's not my place as your coach. My place as your coach, if you're a client with me, is to empower you to make your own choices. I share with my clients, and I'm sharing with you now, the question that actually moves you forward, and that is, can I trust myself to handle whatever happens next? And those are two very different ways of relating to your life. I can tell you from my own experience that there were so many moments where I believed I just needed a little more clarity before I could move forward. I thought that if I just, give it a little bit more time or a little more thought, I would eventually feel completely sure. But what I started to notice was that certainty didn't come from thinking more. It came after I decided. It came from choosing something and then staying with myself in that choice, even when it felt uncomfortable or uncertain. And that's where you begin to break free from negative thinking. Not by getting rid of the thoughts, not by waiting for them to stop, but by no longer allowing them to be the thing that makes your decisions for you. Because your mind, it will continue to offer you doubt. Don't kid yourself. It's there. It will continue to try to protect you, right? By pointing all of the possible risks and outcomes. Yep. And you can get stuck in analysis paralysis. And that part of you, it's not wrong for doing that. It's trying to protect you. But it also doesn't need to be in charge. So I want to bring this back to you in a really simple, grounded way. Think about one decision in your life right now that you've been sitting on. Not a huge one, not an overwhelming one, just something small and real. Something where, if you're honest with yourself, you already have a sense of what you want to do. And instead of asking yourself if it's the right decision, what would it feel like to just simply choose? To make a decision without needing to feel completely certain first. And then to just let yourself stay with yourself in that decision. To support yourself in it. To remind yourself that you can handle whatever comes next. Because that is how self-trust is built. It's built in these quiet, everyday moments where you stop abandoning yourself in the process of trying to get it right and start choosing with yourself instead. And over time, something begins to shift. And it's not because your thoughts suddenly disappear, those negative thoughts, but because they no longer have the same power over you. You start to feel more steady, more grounded, more capable of moving forward, even when things aren't perfectly clear. And that, my dear friend, is what allows you to create a life that actually feels like yours. And if you're ready to start practicing this in a more supported way, I would love to invite you to join my email list. Because this is really where this work starts to become something you can actually use in your everyday life. Especially in the moments where you notice yourself overthinking, hesitating, or second-guessing yourself, and just needing something simple to bring you back to yourself. And for this week's episode, I'll be sending you a Choose Happy affirmation that I author, along with a few journal prompts that are aligned with this episode and designed to just help you slow things down, reconnect with yourself, and see your choices more clearly. So you're not just understanding this work, but actually practicing it in the moments that matter most. You can find the link to sign up in the show notes. Or you can also go to my website, choosehappywithmarie.com. And before we close today, I want to leave you with this. You don't need more clarity to trust yourself. Trust is what creates the clarity. Every time you choose differently, you're choosing your happy life. And that's exactly what I want for you, me, and all of our members here at Choose Happy. And on that note, wishing you a wonderful week choosing happy. Cheers! Thanks for listening to Choose Happy with Marie. If today's episode spoke to you, I would love it if you could share it with a friend or leave a quick review for the show. It helps more women find this kind of support. Remember, you don't have to overhaul your life to start feeling better. You just have to choose happy right where you are, one choose happy choice at a time. I'll see you next time. Take care.